Most people pack for Umrah thinking about their outer garments, their ihram, their abaya, their thobe. Nobody tells you that the thing most likely to ruin your trip costs about $3 and fits in the palm of your hand. I'm talking about your socks. Alhamdulillah, I live in Medina and I take a lot of people on trips over here. And between my own experience and the conversations that I have with visitors, I've seen and heard just about every mistake there is. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the packing oversights that nobody puts in the guides, the practical stuff, the things that make a difference between being fully present for your Umrah and spending it distracted by discomfort. So let's go. Yalla, Bismillah. So let's start with the thing that is going to affect you more than anything else on this trip, your feet. You most likely don't know this, but there is something specific to performing Umrah that nobody really talks about. You're not just walking long distances, you are removing your shoes and putting them back on constantly before every prayer, sometimes 5 or 6 times a day, and you're stepping onto marble floor that has been baking in the sun all morning, then stepping back into the sandals, then walking half a kilometer back to your hotel. And the problem with most socks, the kind that you grab in a multi-pack, is that they are not built for that. They bunch up inside your shoe, the heel slips down, and by day 2, you got a blister on your foot while praying Asr. So what is going to help you with that? A sock that has a low profile, a no-show or ankle height that genuinely stays in place. And you want it to be lightweight material that is designed to pull sweat away from your skin, because your feet are going to sweat in 40-degree heat, whether you like it or not. And you want to pack more of them than you can think. At least 2 pairs a day, because your feet will swell in the heat. And you'll want a fresh pair for the evening prayers as well. This sounds like a small thing. Trust me, it's not. Comfortable feet in Medina is the difference between you being mentally present for what you came for and spending every second of tawaf thinking about the pain in your right heel. So before we get back to the video, I'd like to mention that this video is sponsored by Holafly. And if you're planning a trip to Medina, this is actually relevant to you because Holafly is an eSIM provider. So instead of queuing at the airport for a SIM card, you install your eSIM by scanning a QR code before you fly. And then once you land, you simply activate it. There's no queue, there's no counter, and there's no passport registration. And they cover over 200 destinations with unlimited data, hotspot capabilities, and no hidden costs. And your WhatsApp number stays exactly the same. Setup takes about 2 minutes and you can do it all from your phone before you even pack your bags. And if you travel regularly, they also have Holafly plans, and that's a monthly subscription. It covers over 160 destinations, so you'll never be without data wherever you go. And they also have something called Always On, which is basically after your eSIM expires, you get 1 GB free of data every month in over 70 destinations. Use my code Musa, you get 5% off the eSIM and 10% off the Holafly plans for the first 12 months. Link is in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Now moving up from your feet, let's talk about what you're going to be wearing on the rest of your body, specifically the stuff underneath. I've noticed that people preparing for Umrah spend a lot of time thinking about their outer garments and almost no time thinking about what's underneath. I've seen packing lists with 4 abayas, 3 thobes, and 1 pair of underwear. 1 for 5 days in the heat. The base layer situation matters a lot more than people realize. And when you're walking 10 kilometers a day in 40 degrees, the quality of your t-shirt and your underwear is directly affecting how comfortable you feel every single minute that you are there. And what you want for a base t-shirt is something that is light, breathable, that doesn't wrinkle after 40 hours of travel, because you're going to wear it under your outer garments. So it needs to manage moisture and not stick to your skin, and softness matters because you're going to be wearing it for long stretches of time. And for underwear, I'm going to say this plainly because nobody else will: get the good stuff. Comfortable underwear that is designed for active use with proper moisture management. This is a game changer on a trip like this. Pack 3 or 4 pairs minimum, wash them in the hotel sink if you need to. Your body will thank you later. And the rule that I not travel with is to flip the ratio. So more socks, more underwear, fewer outer garments. You can repeat a thobe, but you cannot repeat bad underwear on day 3 of Umrah. Now here's something about the Umrah schedule that I didn't fully appreciate until I was living it. Between each of the 5 prayers, you typically have a window back at your hotel. It might be an hour, it might be 2 hours. How you use that time matters a lot. The visitors who are thriving on day 4 are usually the ones who figure out how to recover, because your feet are tired, your body is tired. And the people struggling are usually the ones who didn't bring enough to make those recovery windows count. Now there are a couple of things that take up almost no space in your bag but make a genuine difference. The first item, comfortable room slippers or slides, because the hotel room floor after hours of walking on marble is not a place to go barefoot. And a pair of soft slides that your feet can decompress in are worth every gram of bag space. Second, a small basic foot care kit. Blister plasters, a foot powder or cooling spray, and you can genuinely get this at any pharmacy. And the moment you feel a hot spot forming, deal with it immediately. Do not wait until it becomes a blister, because once it is a blister, your whole Umrah experience is going to change, and not for the better, unfortunately. Third, and this is small but I use it for every trip, a lightweight travel towel or small absorbent cloth specifically for your feet after wudu, because you're going to be doing wudu multiple times a day. Your feet get wet and they're going to go straight into your shoes, and that's how blisters start. Now a quick one on the tech side of things, and I'll keep this brief because I've covered the connectivity piece in depth in another video which I'll link below, and that thing is an eSIM. And the reason for that is because data matters during Umrah, specifically because everything runs through your phone. Navigation to and from the mosque, the Nusuk app for your permits, WhatsApp to coordinate with your group or your family, prayer times as well. All of it is data dependent. So if you haven't sorted out your data situation before you travel, you're going to be scrambling at the airport. Or worse, you're going to be managing roaming charges that will genuinely shock you when you get back home. I've done a full video on eSIM options for Saudi Arabia. The link is in the description. It covers everything. But one thing that I want to add here that I didn't cover in that video is your phone battery, because your phone's battery is going to take a serious hit in the Saudi heat. The heat affects battery performance, specifically if it's constantly running GPS, the screen is always on. So pack a decent portable battery that is at least 1000 mAh, because a dead phone during Umrah, when you're trying to find your hotel after Isha, is not a situation that you typically want to be in. Now I want to wrap this up with the reason that I actually care about this stuff. Umrah is not a holiday. It's not a break. People come for Umrah, some of them once in their lifetime. And when you're standing in front of the Kaaba or in Masjid al-Nabawi, you want to be fully present for that moment. You don't want to be mentally negotiating with your feet. You don't want to be distracted by sweat or discomfort or the fact that your phone died and that you don't know where your hotel is. These practical items that I mentioned in the video, the socks, the base layers, the battery pack, it's not about luxury. It's about removing unnecessary friction so that the spiritual experience can be what it's supposed to be. Thank you for your time. I really hope that this helped and gave you some insight on what to pack for your trip. And I'd really like to hear from you. Please drop a comment below on things that you're concerned about, and inshallah I will address them in another video. And if you haven't sorted out your eSIM situation yet, I've linked the one that I recommend in the description. It'll save you a lot of headache at the airport, it really will. And if you're planning your Umrah from scratch, my DIY Umrah playlist is the place to start. Everything from the permit process to budgeting to what the hotel situation actually looks like as well. You know, all the information that I mentioned in this video or the other videos that I've made, they're all gathered in my ebook. It's easy, it's concise, it's helpful. Check that out as well. Jazakallah khair for watching, and inshallah I'll see you on the next one.